What a miserable experience. Yeah, I said it, and I'll say it again. What a miserable experience. And before you Hollow Knight zealots get your panties all twisted, the game was intentionally designed to be a miserable experience. I mean, the first game has a section called The Path of Pain, so saying the game is a miserable experience isn't an insult. This isn't a game you load up to relax and unwind. This is a game meant to be endured and overcome. There's a popular quote I hear often: if it was easy, everyone would do it. I must be an exception or something, because I personally look for the challenging experiences. I enjoy the right kind of misery. You know, stuff like Dark Souls or Ninja Gaiden. Hell, the game that got me into video games was Mega Man because it kicked my ass so thoroughly. I wanted to be able to say I've beaten Mega Man. After years of struggle and hard work, I finally beat it, and I did it without any exploits or cheats. Yes, that means no pause cheat against the Yellow Devil. That gave me a feeling of satisfaction you cannot get any other way. That's why I play hard games. That's what this game is. A game to be overcome, and it can't be a game to be triumphed over if it doesn't rake you over the coals first. Believe me, this game will dish out the pain endlessly. Most of it is what I would call a fair challenge. You know, the kind of stuff that when you inevitably fail, it's just because you weren't good enough, and not because the game cheated you. Now, that isn't to say there isn't any cheap stuff. Quite the contrary. There is plenty of needlessly cruel garbage. Stuff like bosses that explode when you beat them, or placing save points far away from hard bosses so that every time you fail, you have to fight through a bunch of enemies, or have to complete a difficult platforming section just to get back to the boss. The Growl? 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 The Great fight comes into mind. The closest save point is all the way down here. So in order to get back to the boss, you have to go through all of this crap. Which includes this little section here, where you have no choice but to take a dip in the muck maggot water, which inflicts a status effect that slowly drains your silk, and it won't go away until you sacrifice a round of healing to cure it. Now, there is an accessory that makes you immune to this status effect for a short time, called the Wreath of Purity. The problem with that is, it's all the way up in the putrefied ducts. And a lot of people will probably miss that, or just not find it until after beating the Growl. I don't know about you, but that's what I would call cruel. There's also an abundance of flying enemies. Not just flying enemies, but the rage-inducing, controller-breaking, annoying assholes that stay just out of reach and throw shit at you. Get back here! I said get back here! They are everywhere, and they will hound you endlessly. They are there while you are trying to climb a difficult platforming section. They are there while you are trying to avoid falling in lava. In fact, you have to fight an entire group of flying bastards while playing the floor is lava. Mobs aren't the only thing you'll be facing while trying not to fall in lava. There are several bosses that you have to fight while trying to stay on the platforms the boss can temporarily sink into the lava. The one I hate the most is probably the Beast Fly. Not because it's over lava. No, I actually think having boss fights while trying to avoid hazards is a clever way to increase the difficulty of a boss fight. Mega Man does it all the time. It's also a great way to recycle a boss and not have it feel repetitive and lazy. Thankfully, they don't overuse it in this game. Anyway, the reason I hate the Beastfly fight, and so many others in this game, is because they use a tactic I hate probably more than any other: calling minions in during a fight. So not only do you have to worry about a big flying prick, but you also have to keep an eye on the platforms, as well as making sure to kill any minions it calls in, before it calls in more. It's a bit much. I hate bosses that call minions. Have I said that enough yet? Oh well. I hate bosses that call minions. It's not that I can't beat bosses that use this tactic. Take that, you punk. I just know what is coming, and I know what I'm going to endure in order to win. Do you have anything like that? Something that the second it shows up in a game, you go,
"Oh shit, here we go again."
Also, as much as I hate it, I don't want it removed, and I don't want developers to stop using it. I want the challenge. I also understand how to walk away from a game I'm not good enough to enjoy playing. Battletoads, I'm looking at you. As my channel name says, I'm average when it comes to skill level in games, and not every game has to be made for me. With that said, I have walked away from surprisingly few games because they were too hard. I'm too stubborn. Most of the games I have walked away from is because they were too easy, too broken, or just not fun. Thankfully, Silksong is none of those things. It may be one of the most unforgiving games I've played in a while, but it's also one of the best designed games I've played this year. As I've said before, it is harsh, but it never feels cheap. The world is beautiful, and the exploration is addictive, and I wouldn't change a thing. Now don't get me wrong, I'm also not one of those elitist trolls that think an easy mode would ruin this game. If Team Cherry decided to add an easy mode, I'm not going to cry. If a game has, or adds, an easy mode, it just widens the player base without alienating the fans that want a challenge. Well, at least the fans that have a fully functioning brain, thereby making it easier for the studio to sell more copies of the game. I'll never understand why people think variable difficulty could ever hurt a game. Take Devil May Cry for example. The difficulty in 5 ranges from I've never played a game to I am a gaming god.
I am a golden god!
I don't think the series would have made it past 1 if the only difficulty available was Dante Must Die mode. What ruins a game is when a studio has only one difficulty in their game, and then they nerf the combat so the journos can play too. Besides, the gamers that say easy modes ruin games also conveniently forget that most of the hard games they claim would be ruined with an easy mode already have an easy mode. Silksong is a good example. Did you upgrade your health? Did you upgrade your needle? Do you use the tools? Guess what? You picked easy mode. Same goes for Bloodborne or Elden Ring. Every time you level up or upgrade your weapons, you are choosing to turn down the difficulty. That is developers acknowledging not every gamer is at the same skill level and allowing you to adjust it to your liking. It may be time consuming to level up or to find some health upgrades, but it functions the same way that easy modes do. It allows you to tank a few extra hits, making the game, shocker, easier. It's also the reason why there are so many experienced farming guides on YouTube. The same people that would complain if they added an easy mode probably wouldn't have anything to say if they added more health and needle upgrades in the early part of the game, even though I would argue that would ruin the experience far more than an easy mode would. Anyway, that's what I think. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you think me a moron? Let me know in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I will see you next time. Later.
Yeah!